Hey, I'm Bill Melvin, CEO of Buell Motorcycle Co.
You came out with the concept. You had Roland Sands help
Yep.
you design that concept. Talk about where you were about a year ago to where you are now and how you got there.
The night of the party that we threw at Roland's shop, like, we knew it was going to be fun, and we knew, like, people were coming, and the place filled up. And everyone, when they saw it, went crazy. And so basically from like the time the doors opened until, I don't know, a month later, we were just still like in shock, like how much it was just flying through the internet. All the people were going crazy. Our pre-orders just took off. And so like, we just were like, holy cow. All right. We thought we had a really kick-ass bike, and we're like, we need to recalibrate, and everyone is just dialed in on this bike. And everyone is dialed in on having a production bike that's just like the concept bike. Because the concept bike was done by Roland's team, right? I mean, they're artists. Roland's a great designer. Cam's a great person at putting everything together. Aaron's just an artist at fabricating. And everything they did was just like dialed in. So now you've got to engineer that whole thing and make it a production engineered, validated, tested. This has to go from art to digital, to where you can hand it to someone and say, hey, we want to build thousands of these, and it's ready for people to go on the road for 100,000 miles, right? So our whole team just dialed in on that and has been completely focused, just kicking butt, getting it to this point. So at this point, it's pretty dialed in, right? I mean, we went for a ride. It's fast. It handles great. It's beautiful. When you get to 7,000 RPMs, the whole bike just harmonizes. And from 7,000 to 11,000, it's just in its sweet spot. I mean, you can cruise down the highway at 7,000 RPM, and it's like the least vibration of anything. It's just, it just wants to be at that point. And that's that point where Carroll Shelby's like, hey, at 7,000 RPM, it just feels like you're floating. And that's what happens with the bike. And from there to 11, you just feel like you're flying, right? And making that happen. But like the concept bike, there were some really cool things that were done on it that maybe don't function properly if you want to ride from New York to California, right? If you get stuck at a stoplight in LA traffic, the concept would probably start to get hot. This bike stays cool, right? So you can be ripping, pull up to a light, and it's not overheating. It's dialed in. It's ready to go. We got to add some things that work for fully certified, validated, EPA, California CARB compliant, right? So we packaged in our current compliant system, which is our header, both of our headers, our primary catalyst, and then the secondary that comes out, that's a 50-state bike. That's the one that you rode. So that's a system that's already validated and compliant for California. And then we got to package it into this bike, right? So there's a few little tweaks that have to happen to the frame, just slightly, to package that all in there. And then there's some testing that we have to do to make sure that, you know, when we go do our testing for California, that we, you know, pass with flying colors so everybody's ready to go, right? So that's the point. But I do want to reiterate, like, it's been a whole team effort. You know, the whole team, we got a great team. We got a young team. We got an energetic team. We got a real seasoned, kick-ass team of advisors that come from a lot of big businesses. We got amazing leadership team that's seasoned from big companies. And then we got a young team on the ground just kicking butt every single day and making it happen. And that's how we got these done. And from here, we're just going to keep going, right? I mean, this is part of the start of Buell. And people want this bike. We're going to give it to them just how they want it. We've been really customer focused, making sure that everything's dialed in the way the customers want, right? So we've been listening to what they're saying, and Buell as a company is going to continue to do that, listening to what the customers want on a variety of different products. And what they want, we're going to give it to them. And it's going to be kick-ass.